Jinzhou stands as one of the last cities founded by mankind in Huanglong, with a history related to Mount Firmament and of warfare. What is it like to live in Jinzhou as the average person, however? Hello and welcome to another video. Today we will be discussing what it's like to live in the city of Jinzhou. Firstly, let's start with a recap of its general history. Jinzhou was the last city founded in Huanglong and was done so roughly 100 years before the start of the game by Rover. They are ruled by a magistrate as well as Jue. For those of you who don't know what a magistrate is, they are individuals who oversee governance, taxation, judiciary matters, and maintain order within a given province. Though of course, Jinshi does have a little bit more leeway given she has a mandate from Jue, an entity revered as a deity or divine being by the people of Huanglong. While Jue is not worshipped like Sentinel Imperator in Rinasita, Jue is still revered. Additionally, the Midnight Rangers and Outrider organizations exist. These are military and police forces respectively. Apparently, the Midnight Rangers are made up of many resonators, as well as being one of the most stable sources of income for those who live within the province. With this all out of the way, let's elaborate more on the culture. The city holds a festival, which many of us got to experience firsthand in the 1.2 event. It's known as the Moon Chasing Festival. And it's a commutative festival representing the hope and perseverance the people have against the Threnodian Overthrax. Although not officially part of the festival, individuals such as Zhang Liao like to collect wishes of the people and make them come into reality. However, we also learn that not everyone in Jinzhou is happy, whether it's because of failure, of losing loved ones in the war, or seasonal depression. The city as a whole isn't all one shade of hope and perseverance. We do also learn that the people in the city respect individuals such as Yuan Wu and Tao Qi. While they aren't out there slaying gods, they do their own thing within the city and around it. Tao Qi is loved for the most part because of her defensive nature and how intelligent she is. She also goes around fixing problems throughout her day in order to speed things up so she isn't late. Though don't ever tell anyone that it's only because she can get home to sleep faster. Yuan Wu, on the other hand, keeps the people in shape, with individuals often visiting his gym before enlisting in the Midnight Rangers. However, this isn't all. We also have some information from their food. Long crisps, which Don Jin mains are familiar with, are a common treat within Jinzhou. Same with the starflakes. There are many hints to who they are within the food that they eat. Food made to withstand a cold year now becoming a staple, and a skewer that many hardworking individuals find enjoyable after a hard day's work, as well as a stew. It seems that aside from their exceptional leadership, Jinzhou itself is a rather normal city, at least when it comes to the people like you and I. If you were to be randomly dropped into the city, you could very easily live a good life. In the city, that is. Things become a lot more difficult when it comes to the villages, exile camps, or even places like the Tiger's Maw. Catastrophe seems to strike almost every other day outside of the grand city itself. However, living in the city does have a price. The punishment for many crimes is being exiled, even things such as theft or something that we might view as petty. In other words, it's pretty equivalent to death itself. Though Jinshi is a just ruler as far as we're aware, breaking the law does not appear to be tolerated at all. Many of the exiles in the region once lived in Jinzhou, some exiled for violence and others even for murder, though it is important to mention that many exiles are simply people who do not want to live in society. Not all of them are criminals or bad people, but most of them are. It is also important to note that people aren't generally exiled for things such as petty theft. However, you can still be exiled for numerous reasons. Peace and stability are prioritized above all, which makes sense. It is the throat of Huanglong, a frontier city fighting against what is essentially a demon for almost its entire existence. While Jinzhou is a video game city and obviously not to scale, we do have some important locations such as the magistrate's office, an academy, a school, Yuan Wu's boxing gym, and of course a pioneer association. There are more locations, however, these are the most important. It is easy to navigate and was built in mind with human transportation, not necessarily by vehicle, though there are two main roads that are often used. A place where they are often used, however, is Tiger's Maw, a mining location that was under attack by a Overlord class TD, but is cleared by Rover and crew during the events of the region's world quest. Life in this part of the province is vastly different. While villages are rather peaceful and isolated with the odd exile raid or TD attack, and Jinzhou's nearly impregnable defenses, keeping people safe and rather away from the horrors of the world. Tiger's Maw is this mixture of the two. While mining is dangerous, tacit discords can be created due to the deaths and emotions of the miners, meaning that you sometimes have to deal with outbreaks. Living there doesn't seem to be terrible, definitely better than American coal mining towns for example, but nowhere considered luxurious. The people there are hardworking and perhaps even more loyal than those who live in the capital itself. They too have their own foods that emerge during difficult times, or golden times, as they celebrate the festivals as well. I was unable to find any indication of any sort of discrimination between those in villages, Tiger's Maw, or within the city, leading me to believe that Jinzhou's citizens are rather holistic. However, I found out some fairly interesting information. This being that Jinzhou itself was actually attacked. However, this just goes to show the resilience of the people of Jinzhou. This attack, of course, was the one during Act 6 in the whole war arc. Also, despite the dangers, the Central Plains are actually a tourist destination, as proclaimed by Lolo Logistics, meaning that people from Rinasita and elsewhere in Huanglong are actively traveling to this province. To be fair, however, this is mostly happening after Overthrax was defeated. Also, Geshu Lin did buy roughly 3 years of a pseudo-peace before he disappeared. Additionally, the Line's dance troupe, the group Ling Yang is part of, trains and practices in the region, and people are permitted to watch it, meaning that while pockets of death are present, pockets of laughs exist as well. Jinzhou is truly a province where hope shines brightly. Additionally, Mount Firmament is an exploration destination, both within Huanglong and outside of it. People often visit for the hot springs, which can actually heal your characters, but they also have a unique method of cooking food involving the hot spring themselves, known as hot spring slow cooking. There is also a challenge involving this where if you win the hot spring egg challenge, you win a year's worth of accommodations from the inn. Mount Firmament is a generally safe location, but the tacit discords that exist there are rather dangerous due to being frozen in time for so long. Additionally, the Fraxirus have a heavy presence on the island. The area constantly goes through moments where winters can be harsh and frigid where death is common. The people there are also partially responsible for helping to found the city of Jinzhou, helping to explain the similarities in culture and people. However, much like Jinzhou, it is a rather normal city with some unique history to it. The people in these regions, as in the normal people, those like you and I, largely live lives that could be applicable to today. The main difference is the level of technology, and of course that some people can be born with or develop fortes, which is not that uncommon, at least in Jinzhou. Instead, the real treasures lie in their food, festivals, and traditions rather than any rigid or fluid structures of life. They do have a very high focus on education, family life, and community compared to some places, especially if compared to places in America. The people are like you and I. Some love to travel around taking pictures, others like to join the military to protect their friends and family, and the kids like to play hide and seek and run around carefree within the confines of the walls. Cats get stuck in trees, and they have a stable enough economy. The only thing that truly separates them from you and I are the fact that many of them can become resonators, allowing their chosen desires in life to excel even further, or to brutally change their body and mutate it, making their life harder. The highs are higher and lows are lower, but for normal people like you and I, you might have more fear in your life than normally outside of a city, but You also have more comforts and in some cases freedoms to choose your path in life. Even the exiles share similarities, though many of their groups are exceptionally diverse. They aren't all violent and murderous, but that won't stop Don Jin from performing a genocide against them. And that's another thing. If you are an exile, you do have to worry about the Fraxidus, the military, tacit discords, and other exiles. Not only that, there is a literal woman hunting down and killing all exiles just for existing. Rover might give them the benefit of the doubt, but not everyone will come across Rover. Not everyone can be saved by Rover. Plus, Rover often hunts down exiles for, well, their rings so he can increase his friend's strength. I suppose not everything looks good for the people, but the average person isn't a criminal, though. Most people go through life without a crime. But what do you all think? Do you think you'd make it in Jinzhou? Would you want to live in Jinzhou in the first place? More importantly, would you be an exile? And don't worry, I plan on making a video like this for Orinacita and the Black Shores as well, so if you'd prefer to live in either of those locations, then leave a comment down below as well. For now, however, I'll be logging off, and I'll see you next time.